Should you really read Under the Tree Oak? Let's discuss it. Hi, welcome back to my channel, Anime, Manga, and More. And today we're going to talk about a manhwa, or a Korean comic. I'm not quite sure it's a manhwa or maha. I have to remember which one it is. But it is a Korean comic called Under the Tree Oak. Now, there's actually two versions of this. There is the comic and there's a web novel, and I have actually read both. I read both the comic and I am caught up to the web novel, which I am really enjoying. But first, before we begin, if this is your first video or your fifth video and you enjoy what you see, please like and subscribe. Also, click that notification button down below as well. That would be awesome. And share it around so that way I can get some other people that you think would enjoy this video watch it as well. So you may be wondering, what is Under the Tree Oak? So let me go ahead and discuss a little bit with you what it is. A flawless love story of the flawed. Stuttering Lady Maximilian is forced into a marriage with Sir Riften, but he leaves on a campaign after their wedding night. 3 years later, he triumphantly returns, ready to cherish her. As life with her husband finally begins, she only has one question. Does she deserve this love and happiness? I can tell you right now, I really do love this series. It is one of my favorite series. When I found out there was a web novel after the first season had completed, I went and read the novel, and I wish and pray that they would bring that in English because I want a physical copy of it. That's how much I love the series. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the characters. First, talk about, okay, she actually has 3 separate names. Her unmarried name, Maximilian Croix. I believe that's how you say it. I'll have it up here if you think that it's wrong, or at least tell me how to say it. Then Maximum Capitalist, which is when she gets married, and then of course Riften calls her Maxie for short. So I'm just going to call her Maxie because Maximilian Capitalist is kind of a long name, so I'll just call her Maxie. So Maxie is really, how do I explain about her? She's like a frightened little rabbit. That's kind of what she is. She's so scared of everything. But the reason why is her father is really abusive. Her father told her that she had to marry Riften, a man that she has never really met. And when he had left to go to the campaign, which was fight this dragon, pretty much the entire time he was gone, her father and her handmaids would constantly tell her about how he left her because she wasn't good enough. And when he was actually coming back for the campaign, he was offered the hand in marriage of a princess, which of course, Riften was not very happy about due to the fact that he was already married. But she did not know that. She just knew that everything that her father had said was possibly true. The fact that he was coming to divorce her, and she just kind of went off on her, just saying like, why couldn't you seduce him that night? Why can you not make him yours? And she's just like, I was with him for less than 24 hours. Like, I don't know how to do any of this. Like, why are you doing this to me? Her father is abusive mentally, physically, and emotionally. He will do anything that he can to tear her down, and he does a damn good job of doing it too. You feel really bad for her, and she's just been through so much. At the very beginning, he is actually beating her with a cane due to the fact that he had heard that when Riften had left after their wedding night, that he is going to now marry the princess and divorce her. And he yells at her about why she couldn't seduce him on the first night. But hey, she only knew him for less than 24 hours. How is she supposed to do that? So she's in complete despair, thinking that if they get divorced, it's going to pretty much put like a dirty stain on the Croix's name, and the Duke would not be happy about it. And I can tell you right now, I despise the Duke. I don't like him at all. I have not seen him change in character. Even in the novel, I have not seen him change a character, so I do not care about this guy. He can drop dead as far as I'm concerned. I do not like him. So Maxie is really scared of the fact that she may actually be losing this guy that she had met and had not seen for 3 years because he was forced to go on a campaign to find a dragon. So she's really scared that he's actually going to divorce her. But in reality, when Riften shows up, which is her husband's name, by the way, when he shows up, he was actually pretty furious because he has sent people to go fetch her and take her to Untitled, which is his territory, and he was told by the people that had gone to fetch her that she didn't want to leave. But in fact, she never knew that that even happened. The Duke is the one that told him that she did not want to leave. So it was there that she could stay there for another 3 years to get abused by him, which is pretty messed up. Riften actually does take Maxie with him without even telling the Duke that they're leaving, and she freaks out wondering whether or not the Duke is going to be happy the fact that they had left, and Riften just does not care. So they end up going over to Untitled, and she's really timid still. She freaks out whenever he speaks to her, and it makes sense because if you're abused and if you're being yelled at all the time, you'd be really skittish as well. So what can she do? But the more that they're with each other, it does take a little bit. She starts learning new things. She starts to expand what she can do. She was always called a useless, stupid stutterer, but in fact, she's able to learn magic. She knows a lot of math, so she can help Ruth, which is a wizard, with wizardry. She's able to do so much stuff, and she even starts arguing with Riften, which that scene really cracks me up. It's a lot farther in the novel, but it shows that she's starting to have development. But it's not until a little bit later that some things happen that she falls into that despair again. And that's when finally the two start talking it out and start explaining what is in their heart to each other. It hasn't really gone too far, but with them, they do lack a little bit of communication. Both of them have traumas. Riften has his own POV, and it talks about him, how he grew up and how he became the person he is now. And I know a lot of people are hoping that that the author actually writes more of his POV when they're together and also during some of the events that happen, because they really want to know what this man is thinking, because we are reading from Maxie's point of view. And even though we're reading from her point of view, we're still if you read his POV, you can kind of figure out what is going on in Riften's mind. So it's definitely a really good series. It has fantasy because it has magic. It is history, medieval, because it does involve kings, nobles, knights, all that fun stuff, because Riften actually is a knight. He is a commander of a knight. If you want to know more about how he had gone to the position that he is, read the POV version of him, and you get to see how he went from when he was little as a blacksmith all the way to where he was able to become a head knight. It also has a romance in it, of course. It is, I can let you know, the comic says it's a smut, but the scenes are not very smutty. Like, yes, you know what's going on, but it's not too bad. But I tell you, the novel, yeah, that's a R18. So, but it's still really good. I'm not going to say like the whole thing is smut, because it's not. There's a lot of stuff going on, and you will be rooting for some characters. There are some characters that you'll first meet and you're going to like hate them, but then you read a little bit more of them and then you're going to love them, and you're going to be like, why did I ever hate this character? They're so good. I so root for them. So yeah, it's just a series that I want to express that everybody should read. Maybe we can actually get it to where it is actually published, which will be awesome, especially if it's in English, because I know right now it's only in Korean. But I know I would love to have the physical copy. That is how much I love this series. I've read several chapters more than once because they're just really good. They make me laugh, and some of them just make me want to like pull my heart out, and because it feels so crushed. It's just really, really, really good. When it comes to the web novel, what I have read up to is 244, I believe it is. So there's like 244 chapters as of right now. They upload every other day, so there may be more than what I have read, but as what I've read 244, and there is just 34 chapters of the comic version with a season 1, and I don't know if there's going to be a season 2, because I would still love to read season 2, even though I know what's going to happen. I still want to see the visuals, because if you ever see the novel, or not the novel, if you see the comic, the art is really beautiful, and there's like so much fan art around, especially past the season 1, that I have seen that is so beautiful as well. So I just can't wait until I see a little more. I don't know if it's going to continue or not. I heard that there's going to be a second volume of the novel, but I know I'm excited. I'm just going to keep reading it until it finishes for that, and then just wait for then wait for the second novel to come out. And I'll be reading that pretty fast. So when it comes to both the novel and the webcomic, there isn't much difference in it. They pretty much follow the same pace. The only difference is it's a little bit more erotic. That's the best way to put it. It's a little bit more erotic in some, and there is a little bit more detail. I know when I was reading the comic, I didn't realize that Riften had left the room and then come back with food. Only thing I saw was him just stare at her, and the next thing you know, he was holding food. So I was like, oh, okay, he got food out of thin air, but whatever, I'll just keep reading it. But then when I read the novel, it's like, oh, he left her after having a conversation. He had left her, and then he had come back, and then he had the food. I'm like, oh, okay, well, that makes more sense, because it wasn't really explained in the comic. So you may see a little bit of that going on, so maybe just be like, oh, well, he just didn't realize he left. But other than that, like, it still follows the pace, is really good. I haven't really seen anything different between the manga, I can't say manga, between the comic and the novel. So I would definitely suggest, if you want to read the web novel first, go ahead, it's beautiful. And then you could go reading the novel as well, and you'll just get further in. I really don't want to go too much in detail on this, but like I said, it is a wonderful story. It does have the smut tag on it, but also has romance, fantasy, has a little bit of revenge, not too much. It's mostly on Riften's side. You do have all of that, and really, I think it's a really good story. I had read it pretty fast, actually, when I read the novel. I read the novel like 200 some odd chapters in a couple of days. That kind of tells you how good it is. So please let me know, have you ever heard of Under the Tree Oak? Are you reading it yourself? Which version are you reading? One, are you reading the web, the novel, or both? Let me know down in the comments down below. And are you thinking about possibly reading it yourself? I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!